What's up? Welcome back. And it's that time of year. We're wrapping up, and it's December 20th. And I'm going to start some of my best of 2023 lists. And I'm starting it with some interesting new categories, some stuff that I haven't quite recognized before, but stuff I want to recognize. It's my channel, and I'll cover launching. So I'm a blind film critic, and I like to share the spotlight with everyone. I bring on my channel um, other blind film critics. I've had Alex Howard and Lee Pugley on here. Both of them are blind film critics, and they set up their own podcast, The Dark Room, which I suggest you subscribe to at The Dark Room Podcast, anywhere that you can, wherever you podcast, wherever you cast your pods, subscribe to them. They do some really great stuff. They interview a lot of people who are in the industry. They don't just talk about film. They talk about, like, from a critic perspective. They also talk about it from a filmmaker perspective, bringing a lot of people in to talk about various different things. So it's quite fantastic what they're doing, and I always like to shed a light on them, and then I have them come in here and talk with me. I've had other people who work in the audio description community who come in here and talk to me, and I like to shed the light on them. So um, I have obviously been on YouTube forever, since its conception, I guess. And even before I started losing my vision, I was subscribed to some channels. I used to watch a lot of movie-centric channels. Some of them don't seem to be doing their things anymore or aren't around. Some of them evolved into other things. We'll mention that at least once on this list. But I wanted to talk about and give my list of the top critics to watch who are not me. And hopefully, I want you to watch me too. So please click subscribe. This is not like a list of leave me and watch these people. This is a very dangerous list to make, which is why nobody would normally make this list. But at the same time, why not? Like, why can't we recognize people? Authors talk about other authors, actors recognize other actors that they respect and look up to, directors recognize other directors. Why do I have to be in competition with people I admire, whose opinions I think are valid, who I think make good content, and we all share a love of cinema. I do believe all of these critics are cited, as I mentioned. The only two that I know of that are not are the ones that are doing a podcast form. So these are people that you can find easily on YouTube. I would love for any of these people to talk about audio description. I'd love to talk to any of them about audio description anytime, so that we can, so maybe they can know what that is. But this is just a smattering. I subscribe to over 200 channels, so these are the ones on my list. But I did a more comprehensive look at these channels on my website, macthemovieguy.com. So this is just kind of a quick little rundown. I don't want to spend 45 minutes on this video either. But I did want to give a shout out to some certain channels. I did put at the top of my list, so I guess the winner of this award this year, if this is an award, is Adam Does Movies. I really like his channel. You can follow him. I'm trying to give the channel names so you can find them. So he actually is not the top channel on YouTube. He sits, I believe, it's above 50K, but it's not much above that. I don't think he's not in triple digits yet. And what I like about Adam is that he's hilarious. He's got great thoughts on certain films. He obviously has a deep history, a rich history with film. His videos are well edited, admittedly way better than mine. I wish he would edit my videos for me. Be my producer, Adam. Yeah, he produces great content. But he does everything from movie reviews to, out of theater reactions to movie rants, where he'll just talk about a topic, about the state of the race, the state of marvel the state of just simply going to a movie theater. He openly shares a lot of going to theater experiences and points out the negativity that he gets from actually showing up and how it feels like movie theaters don't want people to go there anymore. There's nobody at his theater that ever polices anything, and always people like talking on the cell phone, playing with their cell phone, people talking, kids running around, um, lots of negative experiences that he's had. And he always throws those in there as sort of like, hey, what are we doing here? The ticket prices keep going up, and this makes me want to go less and less. And he's right, absolutely. And that was a problem back when I was working in movie theaters, 12 years ago. So, yeah, I connect to a lot of his content. And interestingly, I don't always agree with him. He, uh, but he always makes a good case for why he doesn't like something. His roasts are obviously meant to be taken in jest and not necessarily like an assault on your favorite things. I giggle at them, even for films that I like. I think they're funny. So I think a lot of people will like him. And he isn't afraid to say exactly what's on his mind. He's not filtering it for somebody, either for a partnership or to get exponential subscriber growth. He's been personally attacked many times, and he has quite blatantly stated how he feels about that, and basically told those people to go pound sand. And when you're not the top subscriber, top YouTuber, I think that's an incredibly bold statement to make. Um, I respect him a lot, and I hope people subscribe to Adam Does Movies. So there's one. Coming in at number 2 for me, I guess my runner-up is Chris Stuckman, who has I've been watching his stuff since he looked ghetto. I swear I used to remember him doing videos that looked like he was just like holding his phone up to his face. And he just like, I think he used to make content that looked like mine. And now he's 2 million subscribers and counting. And kudos to him for building a channel. I used to be so jealous of the room that he created. His little set is amazing. He's got this like perfectly kept DVD Blu-ray collection behind him with like it's got like LED lighting. He's got all of these like figures and film related memorabilia on the wall. It's such a great studio that he's put together for himself. I love his intro. His video intro is great. Whoever made that for him, it feels like something that was actually made for him, not just generic audio that he picked up off the internet. I'm sure he makes a decent amount of money. You can't be at 2 million subscribers and not make a decent amount of money. His videos actually trend. Chris is probably the one. I actually mentioned him to somebody. I was talking professionally to a company about audio description that was talking about, just how to get the word out about things. And I said, if you could get Chris Stuckman to talk about it, even mention it, even watch a film with audio description and talk about what his experience was like, I feel like that could be game changing because his videos actually trend into the top of YouTube, which I don't see the other critics doing. Even the one right below him, even the number 2, I haven't seen trend before. But he has had reviews that have been in the most watched trending titles on YouTube, which is kind of amazing considering there's always some cat that is doing something and we must watch it on YouTube. Chris has decided to stop posting negative reviews. So if you're somebody who likes positivity, this is a great channel for you. He made that choice a while back. And so if there isn't a review of it on his channel, you can decide for yourself. Did he see it and choose not to post a review of it? Or has he not seen it? because it could be one of those two things. It's very interesting because it's like left open to your imagination when he doesn't do that. So if there is no review of it, who knows what that means? Um, but he does. He'll criticize a film a little bit. Like he doesn't just talk about perfect films with no problems. He will talk about the couple little things that he would have tweaked in a film that he is generally positive on. He just doesn't spend a lot of time bashing films. He's as somebody who has started to make films himself, he sees the value in filmmakers and what it is that they do, and he just comes at it from a different way. And that's comes to my last point about Chris Stuckman is he's also created one of the most anticipated titles for 2024 in Shelby Oaks, which I don't even think has a distributor right now. And if you did a poll, it would end up like trending into easily like the top, I don't know, I want to say top 25, but I feel like maybe top 30, maybe we fall just short. It'd definitely be one of the higher titles on the list, just based on his name recognition alone. His crowdfunding for that film broke records, and it was like the trades were reporting on how much money he raised for Shelby Oaks. So, um, yeah, I can't wait to see him finish that film, see which distribution it gets. I'm hoping he gets legitimate distribution and not not an indie distributor. It feels like the kind of thing that A24 would totally go for. But I don't want to, I don't, fingers crossed. Neon could pick it up too. He could even get picked up. Blumhouse could pick it up. I don't know. It just depends and run with it. So, we'll see. But that's what Chris Stuckman's up to. It'll be interesting to see what he says after his movie has come out and what his channel's like. Is he going to keep talking about film? There are plenty of directors that do. Martin Scorsese talks about film all the time. Um, so, anyway, he's my number two. My number three on my list. I'm trying to remember the exact order. So after this, I'm gonna stop numbering them. We'll say Chris was my runner-up, and we'll just keep going. But Breakfast All Day is a channel that you should subscribe to. It used to be called What the Flick, and I used to follow them, and they used to have Ben. This is basically What the Flick without Ben. And Ben used to work for Turner Classic Movies. This was back when, what was that streaming service called? Stardust or something like that? That was curating all those classic movies back when that existed before it died, and kind of got absorbed into Max a little bit. And he had teamed up with them, and unfortunately they had sold their channel and partnered up into one of those like group channel things. So they ended up losing the rights to What the Flick, like as a channel and as a name. I can't even imagine that. I will never do that to my channel. I will always maintain the ability to leave with my channel name, my channel and my channel name, should anything ever be offered to me. But I'm sure the thing looked really enticing. I think what Christy and Alonso do is just, they're really great back and forth. They have a really great rapport. Sometimes Alonso's unavailable because he is, I don't want to say that Christie's not as legitimate of a film critic, but Alonso is a little bit more in demand as a film critic, so sometimes somebody else has to swap in for him. Sometimes it's Alonso's husband, which is interesting that you have two people in that household who know a lot about films. Alonso seems to have a really deep knowledge of film. One of the things I love about this channel. They aren't afraid to talk about films they don't like, which is fine. I like that. If there are things about it that you don't like, go for it. Not every film is perfect. We don't need to act like it is either. And not everybody has the same level of talent. Not everybody has the same skill level. Not every film is given the same budget. Not every film is, it's, I appreciate what Chris does, but at the same time, I think it's valid to talk about films that didn't work for you. So I've always liked these guys. I actually subscribe to them. Actually, all three of these people I've subscribed to since before I lost my sight. So I think I subscribed to Adam just like right as I was losing my sight, because I barely remember him, but I perfectly know what Chris D'Alonso and Chris all look like. So anyway, kudos to his channel. I love it. And yeah, give them a subscribe. They're actually lower than the other two that I've listed. They're around 25,000 subscribers. So I think they just hit that this year and celebrated it. And sometimes they have live chats. So number 4 is Jeremy Jahns. He is the second, I believe, most subscribed to YouTube reviewer. That could be debatable. I could see him being passed, but he's just under 2 million, whereas Chris is just over 2 million. So I think they're pretty close. I don't know who would be in between them. And this is a guy. He's a little heavily edited for me. But if I just want a quick review, if I want some cursory thoughts on a film, his things are great. He doesn't really go that deep. Half of his stuff is humor, but it's a great sort of. He does it well. He does what he does well. He always wears a jacket. His reviews all look the same, but he does feel a little heavily edited to me. Is my only thing that's keeping Jeremy from being a little bit higher on the list. I've been watching him for a long time. I watched him and Chris do the Schmodown, movie trivia Schmodown, so I know just exactly how much they know about movies, and yeah, I enjoy their stuff. Other channels, the awards contender, this Brian Rowe, he changed the title of his channel to Awards Contender a while back, and he focuses largely on just not just awards. He's not just predicting awards, but he talks a lot about films that were nominated. He does more in-depth videos for people who don't just want reviews, who want wider content about cinema. This is really great. He'll take person, an actor, an actress, or the director, and explore why they've never won, why they've been nominated so many times, and how it's possible that they've never won. He does things where he goes through a specific any given year and picks, his top 10 nominations that he would have swapped out for that year. Just a lot of really interesting content, in addition to the fact that he's talking about this year's race, this year's films. So it's a nice channel. I really like what he does there and how he puts things together. He has a very nice calm voice that I think a lot of people will find warm and fuzzy, as opposed to some of the other people above. He's not really trying to be funny. He's just trying to talk about film, and I think people will like him, and I want to elevate him a little bit more. I think he definitely has I think he's the least subscribed channel I've mentioned so far. Next, I have to mention Perry Nimerov. She is fantastic by herself. She loves horror films, and she also hosts the For Your Consideration gang, which consists of herself, Scott Mantz, and yep, I'm gonna forget his other name. It'll come back to me. But it's Perry's channel. But she also hosts a little awards panel thing that is really great, and they have great thoughts. And she goes live too, and she's very good about answering all of her super chats. She's really a genial person in general, even though she has strong opinions on films. I don't always agree with her either, sometimes, but I do like when people can convince me that their opinion that is different from mine is valid or makes sense, and it's not just like, hey, this movie's dumb. I like that. So, yeah, so check out Perry Nimerov. More channels to check out include The Film Drunk. I like him. He's a mixture of comedy and just kind of giving it to you straight. So you can check that out. Movies and Munchies is a great channel. Actually, I think this guy, if we were doing, if we still had movie critics on things on shows, kind of like how Gene Shalit used to be on GMA. This guy should be the new. He should be on GMA. He's got a certain way of talking, and it's very. Even when he doesn't like something, it's he speaks to you in a way that's very sort of still upbeat. Like I know you didn't score any points this game, but that's okay. Maybe next time. Maybe next time. It's he has a very great way of delivering things. He feels so very scripted. That's why he's a little bit down my list. But I love the tone. Um, he's got a very unique style himself, and I really enjoy that about him, and I'll give him another shout out. Um, Moving on down the list, I'm sorry to forget some of the channels that I shouted out. Ryan Burke is great to subscribe to. Austin Burke is great. Ryan, I'll get back to Ryan. Luke Herfield is great, a British guy. He does not feel like he edits his videos. I feel like I've definitely seen videos from Luke that I think he just did in one take. If he did edit it, props. It did not feel edited at all. But he's really good at getting his thoughts out there. And he's actually a new channel for me this year. He's definitely the highest ranked new channel. I saw him, he went to the festivals and his stuff started popping up in my stream, and he was reviewing stuff before I saw it on any other channel. And I was like, well, this is the first review of this film. All right, let's do it. So I got to really learn his stuff that way. He is predicting awards too on top of that, but it's interesting to get a British perspective on film, and also an international one, because he's not afraid to watch international content. So kudos to Luke. I do really like the Oscar Expert. Sometimes their bickering gets a bit much. Sometimes they're just like screaming in their videos. But what I'll say about the Oscar Expert, even when I disagree with them, sometimes they do have really good points. And also, the reason why I would say you should subscribe to the Oscar Expert is it sounds like an Oscar channel. What I'll tell you is that they actually are reviewing films that are coming out of festivals that could possibly be an awards consideration. So oftentimes they review smaller films that the bigger channels won't. The bigger channels aren't interested in these little indie films because they don't think it's going to give them their numbers. They're worried about having a video that underperforms. Like me, if you look at my channel, I have some videos that have over 100 views. I have some videos that have 7. I'm more interested in getting a review out there for that person who is interested in that title. So when they search for that title, that they can get a thought on the review on that. And maybe I can find some gems out there. Maybe I can find a film that nobody's talking about that I thought was really good. So I don't mind it. I know it's messing with the algorithm is probably what's keeping me down here at 195 subscribers, but the Oscar Expert is one of those channels that when festival time comes out, especially, you'll see it if you subscribe to them ahead of Sundance. You'll see them doing some stuff coming out of Sundance where they'll talk about some films that may or may not be making an impact at all in the coming year. And I think that's great. I think people who review independent film should be elevated. So that also leads me to my next person who I really want to give a shout out to is Blaine Auld. That's AULD. Look him up. He's an interesting person. I'm not going to say his personality won me over. I'm going to say what he does wins me over. Blaine has reviewed some of the most obscure shit I have ever seen on his channel. I have seen him be the only person to review films. He clearly has streaming service subscriptions, and he will review that random Netflix film from Poland. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, he will post a review of some of the most watched, under the radar, whatever you want to say, content, and put that out there for the world. And I think that is great. And I give him props for doing. He is over edited, heavily edited, feels very scripted. Kind of annoys me sometimes that way, is it comes across a little bit overproduced. I obviously don't like that style. I like to just talk to you guys so you feel like we're having a conversation. But I gotta say, Blaine has been in many times in my feed, and he has been the only person who's reviewed that film. I subscribe to over 200 channels, and I'll see him review some random thing, and no one else even touches it. And I didn't even know what it was, you know? He just, he's posted a review of it. He's like, yes, and now it's time to talk about this film, which is a film out of Nigeria. And I'm like, oh, good, you're reviewing Nigerian cinema. Go you. So, yeah, definitely check him out. It's worth it. I really like Justin Watches Movies. He does a really good job. I'm going to give him a shout out. He's also really low on subscribers. So if you could give him a like, that would move him up in the ranks. Although he does seem to get screeners, which kind of blows my mind because I know how many subscribers he has. And I'm like, do I just need to get to your level to get screeners? Because I'm not that far. He's not that far above me, and he absolutely has reviewed content before it's come out. And not the kind of content either that you can get a Gafabo screening to or whatever, you know. He's reviewed like episodes of TV series before they come out, and I'm like, there's no way he's getting screener links. He has to be. So I don't know how he's doing it because his subscriber count is decidedly much lower than everybody else's, but I think he does a good job, and he also reviews a lot of content that other people won't. So props. Zach Pope is good. Very solid critic. Sidney Volpe. I still like the Flick Pick. I admittedly, I think I only watched one or two of his things this year. I don't know what his output is. He's been doing like unboxings and stuff, and it just I want to like him more. I want him to get back into it. I don't know what's going on with his life. I noticed Chris and him aren't talking, and Chris doesn't feature him anymore. So Chris used to feature the Flick Pick a lot more. Now the Flick Pick has been set free on his own. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't understand it. I think he does. I think he brings up some really good points. But yeah, sadly, I think his output, I'm just mentioning him just as like a longtime fan at this point. Just my opinion reviews. I think this guy's really good, and he also has some really interesting content. He does recaps of certain TV shows that he follows. So I really enjoy his stuff. So yeah, this is just a smattering of some of the people that I watched this year. I don't even think this is everybody. For the others, go to my website and see who I forgot and left off the list. Ultimately, yeah, check out some of their channels. But stay in mind, please. Don't leave. I don't want to do this. I shouldn't be punished for being willing to talk about the artistry and how other people do what they do and do it well. So I want to be able to support other artists. And this is sort of like, what we're doing is kind of like art. And if artists can support other artists, directors can support other directors, writers can support other writers, we're some form of that in there somewhere. Entertainers supporting other entertainers. I don't know. We're some amalgamation somewhere in there of this stuff. So, and every once in a while, a couple of these channels will feature, some of each other on their channels, and Yeah, but that's the list. That's we'll see who I give a shout out to next year. There are definitely some channels that I just subscribed to this year, and really Luke was the only one who truly broke through. Everybody but Luke, honestly, I've been subscribed to more than 1 year. Luke was the only one that I could openly admit to having subscribed to this year, and he made that big of an impact in 1 year that I was like, I really like this guy, and I click on his review whenever it comes up in my feed, and I want to start doing that with some more of the channels. So, anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Please subscribe to these channels. I tried to give you what their channel name was so that you can easily find them. Um, and Thanks for watching. I don't know if anybody's going to watch this video, but I'll see you guys on the other side. You can follow me at Mac the Movie Guy on X, Threads, or Instagram, and MacTheMovieGuy.com. And let's keep talking about audio description. And I'll have more lists like this coming up that might surprise you as to who I'm giving shout outs to and for why. So I just wanted to start here. So again, see you guys on the other side.